was the first time they sat one frame in a variety show. Song Zuer was wearing an ivory white sweater. Her hair was in a half ponytail, showing her natural sweet side. Zhang Xincheng came in a black hoodie and jeans. His face calm, yet his gaze unusual. The camera recorded their every gesture, but no one caught how Xincheng's eyes kept stealing glances at the girl next door. Song Zuer, although trying to focus on the game, sometimes laughed just because he heard Xincheng's small murmur. Only the two of them knew. There was an invisible spark in the air. Song Zuer, aren't you the type to fall in love quickly? Asked the host suddenly. Zuer laughed nervously. Me? Not the trusting type. Xincheng's gaze turned slowly. His smile was not visible, but his eyes were emitting something. As if to answer, I want to be that exception. Secret dialogue behind the camera. A few weeks later, they were again reunited in a photo shoot. The production team noticed how they didn't talk much in public, but when the camera lights went out, the mood changed. Song Zuer, Zhang Xincheng called softly as they sat next to each other, waiting for their turn. I like the way you see the world. Song Zuer glanced over, smiling slightly. I just realized. You're a strange person. That's a compliment, right? They laughed softly. Around them, the world remains busy. But between them, time seemed to freeze. From that moment on, late-night messages began to flow. Xincheng, 2347. If you weren't an artist, what would you be? Zuer, 001 milk tea seller. But the milk tea should be free for you. No emoticons. No sign of love. But the warmth is real. That night, and a blurry photo. That night, it rained drizzly. Zhang Xincheng came out of a small restaurant in Chaoyong district. He was wearing a black hoodie and a mask, but paparazzi cameras captured a silhouette of someone with him. The girl. Too much like Song Zuer. The next morning, the world exploded. Hashtag Zhang Xincheng Song Zuer Night Out trending on Weibo. Photos are blurry and dark, but netizens don't need confirmation. Their agency objected. That's not Song Zuer. They're just co-workers. But netizens found a lot of additional evidence. The same bag, the same bracelet, even the house slippers in Xincheng's house that once appeared in the live stream, similar to Zuer's. They were silent. But the silence reinforced public confidence. Wounds without blood. Jealousy without rights. A few weeks after the rumors, Zhang Xincheng began filming his new drama. His co-star is a young actress who openly likes him, as seen from his behind-the-scenes gestures and sweet posts full of code. Song Zuer knows. He looked, but chose to remain silent. One quiet night, he opened a fake account that only he had. He writes there, as if writing for himself. If he's happy, I should be happy, right? But why is it like being stabbed from the inside? Before long, a message came in from Xincheng. Xincheng, 2220, I saw you share a poem yesterday. Who's that about? Zuer, 2224, about someone who is always present, but never has a name. Xincheng. I hope one day I can have that name. A letter that was never sent. When Zuer came home from the set, he opened a small wooden box that he always kept on the bookshelf. Inside was tucked a handwritten letter he had written to Zhang Xincheng. A letter he never sent. Xincheng. Maybe I'm a coward. But every time you laugh, the world becomes lighter. I want to tell you, I'm afraid you're changing. I'm afraid you're lost. But what I fear most, you were never really present. She cried silently that night. The letter remained in the wooden box. It never reached the owner. Silence is too long. Slowly, they move away. No more late-night messages. Nobody likes each other's posts. Netizens began to move to a new couple. Their fan base is shrinking. The fandom voice is slowly disappearing. But in one live session on the Chinese TikTok platform, Song Zuer accidentally showed the screen of his phone. The name Zhang Xincheng is still stored in the top chat list, never deleted. Comments popping up. You're still keeping him? Don't pretend to forget. Zuer only smiled faintly, closing the live faster than usual. Unexpected meeting. 2 years later, a nostalgic variety show reunites artists who were once on the same stage. Unbeknownst to them, their names were both listed. When Song Zuer arrived at the studio, his steps came to a halt. At the other end of the room, Zhang Xincheng stood, looking at the script screen. Their eyes met. Quiet. But in that silence, thousands of words that once did not have time to be said, now resound without a sound. "Zuer," he said at last. "Xincheng," he replied, almost in a whisper. "How are you?" "You know the answer. End or new beginning." That day they reshot an old variety scene they had done, as if time retreated to the beginning. But this time, they talked more. In the makeup room, Zhang Xincheng sat beside Song Zuer. He pulled out a book from his bag. "This, the book you borrowed. I only read the last page yesterday." Zuer opens the last page. There, tucked old paper, a letter that he thought was lost. The paper is open. Under Zuer's handwriting, there was a reply. "I'm also a coward. But your every word saved me from a world too noisy. I want to tell you, I never left. I'm just waiting for you to be strong enough to call me home." 2 stars, 1 sky. They still haven't spoken to the public. No confessions of love. There are no friendly photos. But in every big event, they are always present in the same place. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Probably not. Song Zuer once said in an interview, "The most beautiful love is the one that does not need to be indulged. Just you know." And he knows. And Zhang Xincheng? He only answers questions about love with one sentence. "I like the discreet, but deep." The end of this story is not in confession, but on the agreement of 2 hearts to remain silent. Because sometimes, the deepest feelings are the unspoken ones.